Now, it's a well-worn Hollywood technique, plundering the past for the hits of the future. And 2009 looks set to be a particularly bumper year for science fiction fans. A dozen or so remakes are due to open, including a new version of Star Trek, as well as the 70s cult classics Logan's Run and Westworld. But why does Hollywood's take on the future so often echo the past? Our arts reporter Stephanie West has more.
Heading back to the future once again, a new movie version of Star Trek is now perfected and ready for its launch in 2009. Directed by J.J. Abrams, who created and wrote the hugely successful TV programme Lost, it's created a positive buzz among the ardent Trekkie fan base and looks set to be a hit.
What is your name?
My name is James Tiberius Kirk.
But as the sci-fi vaults are being plundered, from Logan's Run to RoboCop, there are currently a dozen remakes of dystopian visions in development, which begs the question, why are studios still looking to the past for their futuristic films?
I think it's because the film and TV industries are still slightly uncomfortable about science fiction because it is weird, futuristic, strange ideas. So when they want to make a science fiction film or TV show, because they're really popular, so they want to make them, they're a bit uncomfortable about like going to the section of the bookshop and reading those difficult science fiction novels that have been written recently.
Are you aware of an impending attack on the planet Earth? You should let me go.
Financially, it's a good bet. Studios just saw a remake of the 1951 classic, The Day the Earth Stood Still, go to the top in America and Europe. Keanu Reeves is now the stranger visiting Earth with a message of peace, although the original was set in Cold War times.
So what they do is they go and say, well, what worked before? Yeah, update it a bit, put in some CGI, change the context so it's global warming rather than nuclear holocaust. If you actually talk to science fiction writers, they all grumble about how the fact that Hollywood will turn out 50-year-old ideas as if it was like cutting-edge stuff. And the average science fiction film, even things that in their day look really up to the minute, like say The Matrix, it lags about 15 to 20 years behind written science fiction.
You will always be a child of two worlds.
Some actors and directors involved in the revisiting of classic sci-fi argue they're in awe of the originals. Simon Pegg will appear as Scotty in the new Star Trek.
I like this ship. It's exciting.
I didn't want to go out there and do an impression of James Doohan because that would be unfair to the character and unfair to him, He did he created one of the most iconic characters in the history of science fiction, and it would be silly for me to undermine that in any way. So I just tried to approach it like, okay, so he works in space and he's Scottish.
And he worked with Leonard Nimoy, who appears as a grizzled old Spock.
I've known that character since I was 8 years old, and to be interacting with the character, not just the actor, but the character, was mind-blowing.
This is The Vacation of the Future today.
Among the dozen films being remade is this 70s classic from the late Michael Crichton. Westworld is an adult theme park where tourists pay to fight gunslinging robots, safely supervised, until the robots turn killers.
He's after me! I don't doubt it. What can I do? There's nothing you can do. If he's after you, he'll get you. You haven't got a chance.
And Matrix producer Joel Silver is behind the remake of Logan's Run, where people are zapped in the carousel when they reach the age of 30, and anybody who tries to run is blasted by Sandmen. Kim Newman says in this case, sci-fi lovers would welcome a remake if it was more faithful to the book, where the fateful age is 21.
It's a case where the original novel is outstandingly good. The original film is kind of likable, but it was disappointing then. The idea is that Hollywood should keep making the stories until they get it right. However, what they tend to do is keep making them, but making them worse every time.
But for Hollywood, some ideas are just too tempting to try and improve on.
No time warp here. We're back tomorrow at 7. Until then, that's Channel 4 News. Good evening.